everyone, and welcome back to Shift Happens. My name is Alayna, and today I'm joined by a really good friend of mine, Adam Bieber. So Ariana can't be here today, so Adam will be my co-host for this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
it's an honor.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
So basically, just get right into it. It was Miami, the new Monaco of...
Is that what we're calling it? The Monaco of the United States?
Yes.
I'm down.
The Monaco, well, we don't know until we get to Las Vegas, so we may have a tie.
That's true.
Because it's just, celebrities there and some mediocre racing.
Celebrities, decent racing, but yeah.
Decent racing, yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, not a big fight for the top.
Should we start by telling people that I absolutely love Formula One?
Yeah.
And my allegiances are to Red Bull?
Yeah, we're at odds here.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Ferrari, I'm a Ferrari fangirl.
Yep.
So I'm in constant pain and agony.
And
yeah,
I have
you
notes on
live
that.
a wonderful life.
I do live a wonderful life for many reasons, but also because Red Bull's just crushing it this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big Red Bull fan. Love Formula One. Been following it for a couple of years. Very much into all the fan pages and Instagram accounts, and I think I follow pretty much every driver and every team and all their finstas as well.
Their finstas?
The fan instas, I guess.
Yeah, all the troll accounts.
Yes.
Those accounts really just, they make me happy.
They do.
In the depths of my despair.
They do. They bring out the best and worst in all of us.
Mm-hmm. So just kind of like jumping right into it. You really wanted to go over the pre-race. So
I did.
Start off with everything that you
Well,
think
what
about.
did you think about the pre-race?
Honestly, I could not have cared less.
Yeah.
Because, last time they did it, I know one of your big things was there was no flyover, and it's America.
Yeah, that irritated me.
And I was like, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it's Miami. It's like, it's America. But then I was like, this is like, just like Celebrity Central. They had will.i.am compose some introduction thing.
Yes.
They had LL Cool J do the driver introductions, which was a first, I think, in Formula One history.
It was weird. Yeah.
It was thumbs down for me.
I'm usually a big fan of all the pre-race excitement
And traditions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love the pageantry. I love the way the grid walk with Martin Brundle's always so much fun. I was actually impressed because usually he gets stonewalled by like every driver, but he grabbed 3 within 5 minutes, which was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed underwhelming and overwhelming all at the same time.
That's really accurate. Because I was watching a grid walk. It wasn't Martin's. It was like one of the other ones with the, I think it may have been with Will Buxton and then the other girl. I cannot think of her name. And they were just like talking and just saying.
Danica Patrick?
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know her name. I feel like
the American chick?
No.
Brunette? Oh, no.
Well, she's brunette, but she's not American.
Oh, no. They had Danica Patrick on Sky Sports.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Sky Sports, right, this past weekend.
Oh, okay.
She usually helps out with the American races.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I don't know what her name was, but they were just standing in front of the Mercedes car, and they were just talking, and they're like, oh, look. And I was like, can you like talk to people?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear your opinions about it. I want to see something else. They did the drivers go out in their like individual cars, like the car parade.
Yeah.
That was fun. I saw a video of Lewis Hamilton absolutely jamming
Just
out to
vibing.
whatever was in his
Big
AirPods.
vibing.
Yeah.
We need to find out, actually, I think we need to start a petition to find out what he was listening to.
What was he listening
during
to?
the driver parade.
Yes.
Because, I saw that clip as well. Yeah, no, will.i.am doing his original composed song. Like, he had an orchestra out there on the grid, which was cool.
I thought that was cool, and I liked the song. Everything else about it, though, because you could just see the look on the drivers' faces, it felt awkward.
It was cringy.
It was
cringy. I think LL Cool J's smooth, and like anybody else, it probably would have been 10 times worse. Like, I just kept thinking, like, what if they got The Rock to do this? This would have been horrible. Because you remember a couple years ago when The Rock did the intros for the Super Bowl? Yes. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, so then he did that driver lineup introduction, and then they went into the national anthem, which was a really great performed national anthem.
Yeah, it was by Gail, who I've listened to a couple of her songs. I can't remember what was the one song that like blew her up off the charts.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to be my pick. Like if you were like,
But it was a good Miami pick.
No, yeah, it was a good Miami pick. But if you're like, list someone who you think is going to sing, she was not in my top thing. I don't know, Taylor Swift, with all the controversy going on with her and Fernando. Put Taylor Swift on the stage to sing. Oh my
gosh, we should talk about that in a little bit.
Taylor Swift.
Yes, and Fernando, yes.
Did you hear Martin Brundle was trying to make all these jokes? I think it was last weekend at Baku. It was like, he was saying like Getaway Car and like 22, and he was naming all of these Taylor Swift songs, but only when he was talking about Fernando. It was so funny. They put a compilation together and I was cracking up. Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I really don't have anything else to talk about the pre-race, because other than that, I was like, said, it was like underwhelming and overwhelming all at once.
Yeah, because it just seemed chaotic, but underwhelming because, I mean, yeah, I was irritated. Like, every single sports event should have a flyover, even if it's Miami.
No, yeah.
So that really irritated me. I was like, what? Where's the fly? Maybe there was one and we just didn't get coverage of it, but it didn't seem like it.
I feel like they always do the flyovers like right when the national anthem's ending.
Yeah, no, they usually do.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Like I said, I don't know if we didn't see it, but I don't have anything. Well, I mean, I remember looking at I think they interviewed some of the drivers and they're like, what are your thoughts on this introduction thing? And one of them was like, I know the drivers don't enjoy it, so I'm fine if this never happens again.
I feel like they don't enjoy anything leading up to the race.
The only one who had a positive thing was Lewis, and he was like, they're trying something new. They're trying to make it like cool. And I was like, this was not.
He's just saying that because him and LL Cool J are boys.
Yeah, I know. They had like a whole little bro hug and stuff and everything.
Whatever.
All the other ones. And then someone else said, if we're going to do it for this race, we have to do it for all races, because the fans in Miami aren't any different or any better than the fans in like Imola or whatever. And I was like, Miami is Miami.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to do we're going to do something special.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to do something for Las Vegas too,
because
we're Americans and we're extra.
Of course. Of course. Oh, Las Vegas should be extra special.
Oh yeah.
Should we talk about the fact before we get to the actual race, talk about just the disaster that was quali and practice rounds for your beloved boys? Because I mean, there were some other spin outs and stuff, but
I will let you know, when I saw it happen, I actually was on Twitter because I was getting my tweet ready to go out for like the ending of like what it was, and I was about to click like to make a new post, and I saw Red Bull had posted like 10 red flags, and I was like, I looked up and I was like, there's no red flags on the TV, and I was like, they must know something I don't know. And then not even like 5 seconds later, I look up at the TV and Charles is just doing 360s into the barrier. And my dad looks at me and I take a pillow and just throw it at the ground. And I was like, I can't ever be happy.
No, that was brutal. I don't know what was going on. But yeah, he just seemed to be unsure of himself out there. I think he took the corner too fast. He's pushing the limits a little too much, and then he's just going over the limits and he's spinning out. Yeah. He did it in free practice and in quali. So it's like, you think you'd learn your mistake. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like he's almost getting like desperate. It's getting like you feel like it's like desperate, and you're like, oh, just hold on, don't do this to me. Do you want my Ferrari team thoughts now, since we're talking about them, or do you want me to wait? Do we want to go over the rest of qualifying? Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. Actually, it was really funny. I got a text from one of my friends, and they said, bless Charles Leclerc for making Verstappen be P9, a sacrifice to us all. Yes. I cracked up. I was like, I'm glad that my pain makes you happy. And they said, I'm sorry for your loss, but I root for chaos. And I was like, that's just accurate of what it was. But it was chaos, but at the same time, there was this like understanding by everyone, every driver, every fan of just like, okay, like that won't last long. And then Fernando was like, by lap 25, he'll pass me. Yeah. And I think he did it at lap 11. I thought he said, did he say at lap 15 or lap 25? 25. Okay. He was so quick. Yeah. I mean, because it was Checo on pole. Yep. And then Magnussen fourth. Yeah, K-Mag was fourth. Who was P2? Who lined up next to Alonso? Yes. On the front row? And then George, I think, was next, right? Yeah, I think so. And then Carlos. Well, K-Mag was P4. Oh, then K-Mag, then
K-Mag, and then Carlos. Yeah.
Which, that was kind of crazy for Haas to get that far up on the grid for quali, because that was, I think, a little surprising for them. He seemed pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, K-Mag's been getting the special treatment. He got pole in Brazil last season.
Yep.
He's like, man, I made the right choice to come back.
I know. So. They're an interesting pair, those two, at Haas. I like it.
I like it because everybody's like, oh, the whole
controversy,
the whole
rivalry,
suck my balls comment.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were gonna say it, but yeah,
I'll say it. It was I was cracking up. I was like, this isn't gonna go well, but they've been doing really well. Mm-hmm. I think they're a good team.
I can't remember who I saw. I think it was Magnussen talking about how they went on vacation together. I
didn't see that. That would be really funny
to work on building the relationship. I was like, that's okay.
Team building. Let's go on a vacation together.
A little team bonding situation.
Yes. Didn't the other point I want to talk about in qualifying was Lewis Hamilton, right? Mm-hmm. He was P13 or P14?
Yeah. And this might be my favorite quote of the weekend. I'm just so anti-Lewis Hamilton for so many reasons.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think mostly just because of the rivalry of
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That did a lot, but
people were very divided.
People drew lines, yeah.
Yes.
And there was no cross in it. So
we are on opposite sides of the line.
Yeah.
I'm way more of a Lewis Hamilton fan than I will ever be a Max Verstappen fan.
That's fine. That's totally fine with me. A lot of my friends are. Everyone, I mean, he is the greatest driver of all time, arguably, even though I think Michael Schumacher's probably the greatest.
I think they're tied, honestly.
They are tied for world championships.
They're tied, yeah.
But yeah, I think Michael's the true GOAT and Lewis is the new age GOAT.
I think
it's like
different
MJ
eras.
and LeBron.
Yeah, just different eras.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But they said it was the worst qualifying ever for Lewis Hamilton on American soil.
Yeah. It was. I looked it up.
Which is crazy.
P13.
P13?
P13, yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. I mean, he's not been doing great in the past couple qualifyings. I mean, there's been I remember when they were like, is this going to be the first time in multiple years Lewis Hamilton hasn't made it to a Q1? And then all of a sudden, I remember one time, I think this season, he didn't make it past Q3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or was that last season? I don't know. They've been struggling for.
They have. Since. Do you have you heard any of these rumors about why it's taken them a while to figure out his contract for next year and that he may retire?
I haven't heard any of that. I thought that he didn't want to retire until he could at least get in a better car or at least actually have one more really competitive year. But I mean, you
so I don't think he has a contract for 2024 yet.
He doesn't? Oh.
And I think he is
weighing his options.
I don't know, but then there's these rumors, which you're going to hate this, or you'll love it, but there's these rumors that Charles has been having conversations with Mercedes.
I've heard about this.
So
I've heard about that, and I was like,
which that'd be a tight group. George and Charles would be cool.
That would be a tight group. It would feel really, really unnatural, I feel, because my problem is I'm such a huge Ferrari fan, but I'm also such a huge Leclerc fan, and I feel like if he left Ferrari, I don't know what I would do with myself. I'd be
his stock would go down for you.
No. No. I would still love him, but I'd be like, oh, I guess I have to be a bit more of a Mercedes fan now.
Yeah.
And kind of be upset when they don't do great.
Well, what? Okay, this is pure theory. I didn't see this anywhere. I'm making this up. I'm starting a rumor. But
okay.
What if Lewis retires? Mm-hmm. Charles goes to Mercedes. Ferrari picks up Mick, and he follows in his father's footsteps.
That's not happening.
Never happening? Okay.
That unless somehow, some way, Mick is in the sim every single day, and he's blowing out of the water times at Mercedes.
He might be, but anyways, Ferrari has other issues other than
Ferrari
drivers.
has a lot of issues.
So, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's already in.
I mean, he has his contract extended till 2024.
Mick does. He's a backup driver?
Charles does.
Oh.
His contract either just got extended or it's extended until 24.
Through 24.
I think it's through 24.
Gotcha.
Something like that. Because he signed it 2 years ago. It was a pretty long deal. I think.
I don't know. He doesn't seem to be there mentally.
I think he's just sad.
Yeah,
I would be really sad too. He's making music now.
Well, he broke up with his girlfriend at the beginning of the season.
He broke up with Charlotte, yeah.
Yes.
I've never been more happier.
I'm sure you celebrated. You and like 7 million other women. But yeah, he broke up with Charlotte, or they broke up. I'm not going to say he broke up, but
I thought she broke up with him. So
she might have.
I don't know. I feel like it was a mutual understanding. I don't know.
Out of all the they actually, a lot of them have their significant others are not like super like drowning in the fame. They all seem to kind of have like a sense of like self.
Yeah, the only one who you really see often is just Max's.
Kelly Piqué.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see her often.
You do.
The only other time I see there are other people, I only see George's on like Instagram, and then Alex Albin's on Instagram. They do a lot of like promotion stuff together.
They do.
They're cute.
I mean, Checo's got a family. K-Meg's got a family.
I don't really. Bottas has got his wife.
Are they married?
Yeah,
they're married?
I think they're married.
They cycle all the time.
Yeah.
I
see them do that stuff, or like
yeah.
He held out water for her. That was cute.
That was so cool. He's like cheering on the side of the road.
I can't think of anybody else who's got a relationship that's at least public.
Yeah, I don't know, but she did seem pretty normal, and then they part ways, and then he goes into this season, and I can understand being sad, but I just feel like he's mentally checked out.
I thought the breakup was for like to focus more on racing. But I don't know if that's helping.
You may need a girlfriend, Alayna.
I'm ready. I'm ready to be a wife.
Listen, this message is for Charles Leclerc. Alayna just said before we started recording, all she needs is a country boy to spin her around this dance floor. Quote,
I will make an exception for a Frenchman.
Or
a Monesquieu.
Yeah, I was going to say a Monaco resident. Is that what they're called? Monesquieu?
Monesquieus.
Cool.
I'm
good with it. I'll believe you.
I think that's it.
All right, let's get into this race.
Yes. Okay. Checo started on pole. He was on pole. I like to just always start with Red Bull because like they're normally talk of the town, and I can just get it out of the way and continue the rest of my podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. Checo started on pole, held off Max until pit stops, right?
Yeah, so Max climbed through the field, and then he overtook. I think Checo pit, and then that's when Max got took P1, but then Max held that out because he did 41 laps on those hard tires, which was crazy.
Stupid.
But even when Checo went onto the hard tires, it didn't seem like he could find the same pace that Max found.
No. And then Max went to pit, and then he held him off until like, I don't know. I think it was like 3 or 4 laps.
Yep.
That they had some pretty good racing.
Yep.
And then
they had that little battle, which was cool.
Yeah, I like that. They came around. I can't remember which corner it was, but they came around one corner, and then they were both like side by side, and it was a little racing, and then Max went head.
Yep.
And we said, okay, we can go.
The number of times that Christian Horner at the end of the race was like, "Thank you for being fair. Thank you for playing nice." It's like, I'm sure he was worried, like, God, don't wreck each other.
Please don't wreck each other.
We don't need this again.
Don't need a Baku.
No, but they were. This is my thought. Can I tell you my Red Bull thoughts?
You can tell my Red Bull thoughts.
I do think that Max and Checo battle throughout the season. I think that's the only battling we're going to see.
Yeah.
But I think there's a piece to Max's success that is he's getting the preferential strategy. But if you look at the grid at the beginning of the race, P1 through 8 all had the medium tires. So they all were on that strategy for a win. That was what they were hoping for. They put Max on the hards just to flip the strategy and see which one worked better. Max was able to fare better with those hard tires and keep them working for him all the way up until he pit. But I just don't think, I think if they'd had the equal strategy, I don't think Checo has the pace.
No, I think Max has something. I don't know what it is. It's just some special Red Bull juice that they put in his car or something before he goes out. No, it wasn't. I mean, they came out after Max pit, and I was like, he's like 3 seconds off. I was like, this is going to be like a 2-lap battle. He's going to catch up, and then he's going to zoom off and have like 15 seconds on him in like 5 laps. Like, it's not.
No.
It's not even a competition at this point.
It's not. What do we have? 2 more street circuits for Monaco and Vegas. Mm-hmm. Right? And then are the rest?
I believe the rest. I cannot think on the top of my head if any more of them are street. Yeah, we normally bang out all of them in the beginning of the year.
Yep. So
is Jeddah?
Yeah, I guess you could consider that too.
Jeddah is a street circuit. That's the ending, right?
Abu Dhabi.
Sorry, not Jeddah. Abu Dhabi is a street circuit. No.
Those are tough because I feel like they're like both.
Yeah, they're a little bit of both.
But there are. Abu Dhabi has walls. So they say they're saying Checo's better on the street circuits.
Yeah. So
maybe he gets the edge. But honestly, like his win last week was purely chance. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think that it's exciting right now because there's such a tight point difference. But I think as the season goes on,
it'll get further increases. Apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going into that season of. It was like the early, like it was the 2010s, honestly, of just like Lewis, just like it wasn't a competition. I mean, you had Nico Rosberg and him like battling it out for each other, and then Nico Rosberg left, and it was like, okay, Lewis Hamilton's gonna dominate for the next 6 years.
Nico had his one championship and then rode out.
Yeah.
All the Nico fans, well, I don't really care about the fans. He irritates me whenever he's on.
He does?
Like, yes. I feel like he's still got this like. This
grudge,
maybe not a grudge, but it's almost like he's got this thing in him where he always has to remind everybody that he's a world champion. It's like, we know, but he'll be like, oh yes, I remember back when I was racing Lewis Hamilton, that was my mechanic. And it's like, dude, shut up. Nobody cares.
You're like,
you got your one and then you bounced. It's all good.
That was 7 years ago, Nico. We've all moved on.
Yeah.
Good job. You'll get a round of applause. You have a trophy.
You know how much life passes in 7 years?
A lot.
Quite a lot. I mean, if you ask yourself what you were doing 7 years ago.
I was in middle school. I think I just graduated my first year of middle school, 6th grade.
I was 23.
Let's think about this. I was 12.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was 23.
I was a baby.
Anyways. Yeah, I hope. I don't know. We'll see. I've heard people say like this season's kind of reminiscent of that Nico Lewis season 2016.
The Silver Arrows battle.
When they were when Nico won the one that he did. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen with Red Bull. I think Max is just too strong.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, I'm like I think about it. I'm like, will there ever be a time Max is not ever top of his game ever again? Because I mean, he went P9 to P2 in 15-ish laps.
Yep.
It
was unreal.
I was just watching him go up the graphic, and I was like, so this is. I think we should all learn at this point. Doesn't matter whether he's starting from P9 or P20 or P4. He's gonna end up P1.
Yeah, P1 or P2. He'll be on the podium.
Yeah.
It was fun to see him do some of those overtakes. Mm-hmm. I think there were. You mentioned earlier. Actually, I think before we started recording, it was kind of a boring race. There wasn't all that much excitement.
No, I mean, it was funny. Twitter was like, it's kind of not a snooze fest. I mean, I had so many people that were like, snooze fest. And I was like, well, no. But they were like, it's going to be like one of those races when they're replaying a battle for 12th.
Yeah.
On the screen.
Yes.
And that's the most entertaining point of the race in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're like, let's cut to George Russell, who just got team orders to pass Lewis Hamilton. Because that happened.
Spicy.
Did you see that? They were like, don't fight.
Yeah, Lewis was like, he can go ahead of me, man. I'm going to keep pushing, but like, do whatever you want. I was like, okay, Lewis.
Yeah, that was interesting. Mm-hmm. Those kind of team orders make you kind of.
Yeah, you're like, oh, are we going to get some retaliation? A spicy radio?
Yep.
Some of the radios were fun this time. I remember, I can't remember if it was George or if it was Ocon who was like saying, "This is how we roll," or something like that. I think that may have been George.
It better not have been Ocon.
You not like SD Bestie?
Nah, I'm indifferent, but I don't think Alpine's doing anything crazy good. So
I'm not a big Esteban Ocon fan. I don't know. Like I said, I'm indifferent towards him.
Yeah.
I'm a Pierre Gasly fan.
Yeah.
So liked him when he was
purely visual, or
no. I liked him when he was at AlphaTauri. I enjoyed his Monza win.
Oh,
I'm hoping he's not a one-hit wonder.
He probably is, which is fine. But him and Yuki Tsunoda's relationship was just the cutest thing.
It's still the cutest thing. I enjoy how Alpine's like media team will still use that. Because they'll be like, reunited, the romance. And I'm like, okay.
I know.
I thought those two would definitely, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly, I thought that they were definitely going to butt heads on the track because it's been a known like thing that they're not each other's biggest fan.
Yep.
Something happened when they were growing up in karting.
Yep.
And then since then they've been like, oh, okay, I'll smile and take a picture with you. They've cropped each other out of photos.
I just my hot take on that is it's only because they're in a crappy car. I think if they were in a really good car and they were like chasing points consistently, that there probably would be more tension.
Yeah, I mean, Pierre did well. I mean, he went from, I can't remember how he started. He got into Q1 3. I think he started around P9 or P8.
Well, Max was P9, so he had to be 8.
He was P5.
Yeah.
He was P5.
That's such a weird.
He was P5,
grid.
and then when the beginning of the race started, K-Mag lost like 2 places, and then Pierre and George went up.
Yep.
And that's what it was, and I was like, oh, Pierre's in P4. Is he going to be able to hold it? And then it was like 5 laps later, and he was down in like P7, and I was like, okay, guess not.
Where did he end?
P...
Was he in the points?
8.
Okay, he got points. I like that.
Yeah, he got some points.
Good for him.
P8, and then Esteban Ocon was P9. They seem to be ending with each other normally between 1 or 2 positions.
Which shows the car. It's mainly the car.
Yeah.
That's what, so this is kind of what gets me about like some of the teams where there's such a, like, part of my Aston Martin notes are like, why is Alonso? I mean, I know he's a 2-time world champion, but still, like, is Lance that bad? That's my hot take.
Yeah, we have to,
I'm not a fan of Lance Stroll.
I'm not a fan. I think he is, I remember when I first started watching Drive to Survive.
Yes.
And he came on and I was like, I am not going to like you.
No.
You seem like a bratty little, like, daddy's money's boy, a little booger.
You know my honest opinion? He's got, like, you just want to punch him in the face.
He is one of those punchable faces.
Yes.
Yeah. I get that. Like, every, like, driver has, like, that thing. Like, there was, like, that Nicholas Latifi. Mm-hmm. He was also, like, Canadian or whatever, but, like, he had a Nutella thing. He had goat teethy. Like, he had, like, Lewis Hamilton, like, lost the championship because of him. Like,
you know what I tweeted out when he crashed? I said something like, or I put it on Instagram. I said, I'm going to send Latifi a fruit basket for his help with Max's first world championship.
I remember watching that and I was like, it's all downhill from here. No. But no, I'm not his. He will never.
If they have equal cars, there's something wrong. Like if Fernando's 4 out of 5 races on the podium, he's fighting for that P3 spot every race. And then Lance is finishing, what, like P15 or something crazy?
Something stupid like that. I mean, it was...
It's like your dad
P12.
needs to fire him.
P12. His dad will never fire him. He will have that seat as long as he wants it until the day he decides that he doesn't want to do this anymore and he wants to go start flying planes or something.
I honestly thought that his whole, like, fiasco at the beginning of the season, like, I fell off my bike and hurt my hands. Like, I thought that was, like, his way of being, like, because he was intimidated about having to be teammates with Fernando. I
think it's so funny, though, all of this, like, Fernando complimenting him and Fernando giving him advice on the radio.
And checking on him.
I'm laughing. I'm like, this must be something in their contract. It's like, Fernando Alonso must compliment Lance Stroll at least
on
once a
team
week.
radio.
On team radio at least once during every race.
Yeah, because at one point, I mean, Fernando said this was a pretty lonely race because P3, he was just kind of like, there was such a large gap between him and George by the time the race ended, and such a large gap between him and Checo.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like racing by himself. But he caught the big screen and was like, tell Lance that was a nice move. He's like, what position is he in? And they're like,
P12.
P13.
Or P13, yeah. I put that in one of my notes. It was, I think it said, Alonso watching the race on the screen and commenting about Lance's overtake. Like,
first of all, what a flex, because I don't know. It stresses me out to think about the amount of focus they have to have the entire race in order to not be one square inch off from hitting the apex and doing what they
spin out.
Yeah. So I'm like, the fact that he's able to like multitask and watch the screen is hilarious.
I mean, he's been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
Oldest on the grid. I think I looked it up the other day. He's like 41, 42.
He's 42, and he is, he's passing.
In his peak. He's in his prime.
He looks like it. Speaking of his peak and prime, this relationship potential rumor with Taylor Swift. Do we think this is real?
No. As much as I would love for something stupid like this to happen, he actually like broke up with like his girlfriend or something, like, because
Taylor Swift's like 31, 32 years old. She's just like a year or two older than me.
She also just broke up with her boyfriend of 6 years and is now with another guy.
Taylor Swift had a boyfriend for 6 years.
Yeah, his name's like Joe or something. I feel like if I say the
Jonas.
wrong,
I'm just kidding.
No, not Joe Jonas. I mean, they were a thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they were a thing. No, I think his name was like Joe or something. I hope all the Swifties don't come after me for this, but no, they were dating for like 6 years and they broke it off, and now she's like with this new guy, Matt Healy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They're apparently, in quotes, in love.
Well,
so
just in time to start writing another album.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun because there's not really like a true American celebrity crossing over into that world, at least not in a while.
No, the only one I can think of is like Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like fandom with Lewis and Mercedes.
I remember they were like, Lewis talked about him being offered to fly and be a part of Top Gun Maverick, but the filming was during the 2021 Max and Lewis season, and he couldn't get to like do anything because of how the races were.
Oh, that's crazy.
I talked to my mom about this morning. Literally, he like, Tom Cruise is like, I want you to be a part of the movie. Like, you can fly one of the jets. And he was like, I can't, man. I've got like races.
I got a race.
I've got a race. I could win this championship.
I've got a race to lose. A championship to lose.
So unfortunate.
Dang.
I was like, you lost the championship and you said no to being in Top Gun.
Yeah, tough. Super tough.
Chose the wrong sport, I guess.
Another team that did not do it for me, and they haven't been all season, McLaren.
Oh, yeah. They finished, I actually wrote it in my notes in all capitals, P17 and P19.
What the crap?
They are not happy people.
No, I don't understand. Like, poor Lando. He still smiles through it.
It's not a good smile.
But he looks so defeated.
He looks like just like tears are about to burst.
Uh-huh.
Out of his eyes, just like if someone says like, are you okay? Tears.
Are we one season removed from... No, we're 2 seasons removed from the last win they had was Daniel Ricciardo.
Danny was here last season.
No, he was there last season, but we're 2 seasons removed from their last win.
Oh, yeah, Monza.
And Danny...
Danny won it.
That's the last race they've won.
Mm-hmm.
And they get rid of him. They bring on Oscar. All the like controversy behind all that.
Oh, yeah. I did not enjoy any of that. I was like, you do all this with Alpine, and then you're like, no. And then now you're with McLaren. And then it went like McLaren did it behind Danny's back. Because I remember he said something in July or August. And he was like, no, I'm still racing for the team. And
yes.
In 23.
And their deal was already done, I think, at that point.
And we're happy. And then 2 weeks later, Piastri puts out the like tweet. And it was like, I'm not racing for Alpine. I'm not in a contract with them. I'm not going to actually be racing for McLaren. And I was like, is this how everybody and Daniel Ricciardo just found out that Danny is not going to be racing for them?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how. I don't understand their strategy doing that. Part of me feels like I don't know. I used to be such a big Zach Brown fan, but I feel like he's got a little like shady side to him.
You know what? Yeah. I was like, oh, he's a good guy. And then I'm like,
yeah,
you did Danny such.
He got a tattoo for him.
I know.
And then he did him dirty like that.
Danny was like, I think Danny did that with, when he was at Renault too. He was like, if I win a race, you have to go get a tattoo.
It's crazy.
And he did it then. And then Zach Brown also fell victim to that. I'm like, now you have a marked reminder on your body.
Literally.
Of the last race win. And then you kicked him out.
Yeah.
And then you had to pay him millions of dollars.
I know.
And then he gets picked up by Red Bull as a reserve driver.
Which is crazy. I feel like when you see him, he's just a little bit more relaxed. I think he's relieved. Mm-hmm. He's on a winning team. He gets to help that. Mm-hmm. I also think it's a good restoration story of him going back to Red Bull and working for Christian, because you remember after he left, there's that scene in Drive to Survive
and he jumps off the cliff.
Well, when he announces that he was going to go to Renault, and then they were talking to Christian Horner about it, and they're like, what do you think about Danny going to announcing he's going to go to Renault? And Christian's like, who? Pretend like he didn't even know him. I was like, that's so savage. But it's cool, to see them come back around and they're working together. Yeah. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens to Danny. But I just feel like McLaren, high hopes going into the season, super underwhelming. Yeah. I feel like they're getting worse as the season progresses.
Yeah. I remember when Lando got a P8. Lando has points. Yeah. But it's just not.
4.
Yeah. I think
2.
McLaren actually has 14 points this season. They're tied with Alpine.
Okay, that's not bad.
Which is funny because you think Alpine is doing so much better than McLaren, because McLaren's just this P17, P19, but then once you get past 10, it doesn't really matter where you place.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
You're not getting points.
It's a good point.
So
good point. It's good.
So, yeah, I'm just tractors. They're just tractors.
Just big orange tractors.
Big orange tractors.
Big old Caterpillar tractors. Yes. No, I guess. I don't know. They're going to have to really figure something out during this off season, because I don't think they make any noise at all. I mean, just 2 years ago, they're the top 4 teams.
Yeah. I mean, it was Red Bull, Mercedes, and McLaren, and then Ferrari was the one who you're like, okay. I mean, everybody's still okay, Ferrari, let's get our act together. Yeah. But no.
But right now, it's Aston Martin that's up there. Mm-hmm. Only because of Alonso. Lance is not helping that at all.
I mean,
Mercedes is up there because Lewis and George are consistently in that mid top 10 range.
They make the points.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's not back in how it was with just consistent podiums.
Yep.
But no, I mean, as much as I give crap to Lance Stroll, he makes those weird times where he'll start P15. And then he'll just pop up in P9, P7. Mm-hmm. And you're like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
You were just so silent the entire time. And you went up 10 positions. And so I'm like, he's not horrible, but I don't enjoy him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one I had on my thing was Williams. I was really excited for Logan Sargent to pop off.
Me too.
It's your home race. You're in Florida.
I know.
Florida man.
Yep.
P20.
I know. It's tough. I think he's learning a lot. Mm-hmm. It's exciting to have an American driver out there. Yeah. For him to have a home race, pretty much his hometown. It is a tough outing, but I think he got a nice warm reception from the crowd. Him and the Hispanic drivers all had a really warm reception from
yes.
And Lewis. Everybody had it pretty decent, but I felt there was this sense of
he's
pride.
He's
one of ours.
Yeah, he's a Florida man.
Yeah. Which I bet you he gets more welcomed at in Austin.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida and Texas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That'll be fun. But yeah, it is tough. Williams, I think that's the only thing I had on my notes was first race on American soil for the American driver. And
yeah, didn't do well. I had one more thing for him was he pit lap 3. I remember watching the TV and I was like, are you kidding me?
What is he doing?
I was like, why are you going in? You made up points. And then he got a new set of tires and I was like, what happened that you need a new set of tires 3 laps in? And then they changed out his front wing. And then I remember watching the race again. I wanted to watch the beginning in the first corner. And there was a huge whole like lockup and collision that everybody just kind of seemed like to breeze by.
Yep.
With the like last couple people, they never played a replay of it. So I don't really ever remember seeing him touch someone, but he needed a whole new wing. Everything.
If anything, I think it was I thought it was just tires bumping.
I mean, he needed. Yeah, they got a whole new wing on him. So that was the only thing I got on him. I was just disappointed. I know Ariana, she loves him.
Does she?
Literally, she one of our podcasts, she goes, now we're going to talk about my favorite person, Logan Sargent. And then she played like an audio recording of an eagle.
Oh,
and it was like, caw, and she thought it was so funny. She thought of it like 10 minutes before we went on and recorded. And I kid you not, for the 5 minutes before we started recording, she's cracking up. She's like, this is going to be the best thing ever.
I love that.
And it really only hit her. But I'm like, whatever makes you happy.
I love that. That's awesome.
Now I want to talk about my disappointing team. I mean, Sainz did okay. They both ended in the points, but I get really sad when I talk about them now.
I know. Another Ferrari engine, right? Alfa Romeo.
Oh.
They real quick, Bottas was looking pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't write any points about them. I remember hearing something about them, but I don't know if
he was making up pace and time right at the end, and they thought he would catch, I think, K-Mag in that P10 spot for a point. I don't think he made it. I think he ended at like P13 or something like that.
He ended P13. He had Tsunoda and Stroll in front of him.
But he did look like he was out there competing.
Yeah.
Which was cool. That was cool to see.
Normally it switches between Zhou and him on like who's kind of the better driver during the race. Yeah, on like who's got it. I mean, he's not had a great couple races. Didn't they both DNF last race?
I don't remember if it was the last race, but yeah, they did both have one pretty early too in the race. Where it was like, well, dang, Alfa Romeo's out.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to your boys, my note says WTF question mark about.
That's
for Ferrari. That's where's the Ferrari? That's what that stands for.
Where's the Ferrari?
That's what I keep asking myself.
What the Ferrari?
What the Ferrari? I gotta be careful. I keep asking myself that that question because man, like. I just feel like
it's a team that's falling apart.
I think there's team leadership issues.
I mean, they're hiring right now because they got rid of Binotto. I remember they got rid of Binotto and they're like, all of our problems are going to be solved.
That's what they thought.
And then it's like the same thing.
It's like, no, bring that mad scientist looking dude back because he wasn't that bad. But I just feel like I don't think they believe in themselves at all. Like the interview starts, like, what do you think you can get out of the car this week? And it's always like, well, we're never going to catch up to the Red Bulls. So
yeah,
and then you see him, and it doesn't seem like he has any belief. Like
no,
they could be fighting the Aston Martins. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Sainz's morale isn't as low as Leclerc's.
I agree.
Because I mean, he's done pretty well. He ended P5 behind Russell, so, and I have it in my notes like. Sainz had a really decent start and a decent battle with Alonso in the early stages of the race. Like they were kind of going back and forth at each other. And then Russell came, and then it was those three fighting for P3.
Yep. And that's who else was on the first three.
Yeah.
It was the three of them. It was Checo, Alonso, and Sainz.
Yeah, they were going at
Mexican.
Yeah, they were going at each other for a while, and then Russell caught up, and then it was Sainz and Russell. Another one I had about Sainz was he locked up at right when he was going in the pits. He had this huge lockup going way too fast.
He did.
And then had the fastest pit stop from that same pit stop. It was 2.21 seconds.
Yep.
Of the race, and then proceeded to speed in the pit lane and get a 5-second time penalty.
Yes.
I was like, that was a whirlwind of like 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter at the end because the difference between him and whoever was P6 was
Hamilton.
Was greater than the 5-second penalty.
Did he serve the penalty?
They just added it to
They just added it?
Yeah,
okay.
So I think him and Lewis, their split was like 7 or 8 seconds. And so it didn't even matter by the time the race ended. He didn't pit again to actually serve it. So, but still, that was a little wonky for him, but it did show the team. I mean, the pit was incredibly fast.
The Ferrari pit team is not bad.
No.
I mean, they do their job. I feel like out of every Ferrari member, the pit team is the one who gets the...
They've got it together.
They have it together. Everybody else needs to follow their lead.
Yeah, I think something needs to happen. I know we talked about the rumors around Leclerc and whether or not he's talking to Mercedes, but something's got to change.
Yeah. Something, or like, they just need like one thing. Like, they need a race where it just goes right and it goes their way, and they both, like, one of them ends up on the podium, or one of them, at least both of them, just make it up in the higher points.
Yep.
And I feel like they'll start to get their morale back. I feel like they just think they'll, like, how everybody is, like, all the Ferrari fans are like, what is our life like?
I know. So
I feel like that's them right now too. Like, they're just kind of like low morale, like, we don't have it in us to win. Kind of like what was Mercedes said, like, we're not focusing on this year anymore. We're just focusing on the next year. And I feel like Ferrari already feels like they need to, like, just focus on the next year. Like, they're
like
not
cashing in on it. Yep.
I'm like, guys, we're only like 5 races in.
I know.
This is a 20 race season.
There's a lot of races to go.
Like, hold on, you're fine. But no, the other one I had was Leclerc had a hard time passing. I think it was Magnussen. They did a little like switcheroo. He got around him.
Yep. And
then they go back in the corner, and K-Mag just takes it away from him again.
Is that where I think they were talking about it during the race, where he positioned himself to take the outside, and Leclerc held that outside line, and then on the next turn, K-Mag dropped to the inside.
Yeah.
And caught the edge on him. The little 1-2 switcheroo that they all do.
Yeah.
That was the fact that he's trying to fight against a Haas is just crazy.
But then I looked at it, and it was like him fighting for like P12. And I was like, you can't get past a Haas.
Yeah.
And you're in like the superior Ferrari engine. You have a better car than they do. And you're having a hard time getting past K-Mag.
Yep.
Like,
it's showing a lot.
I'm just like, is his morale just like dropping like so fast during a race where he just feels like he can't push to the limits anymore? I feel like he pushes to the limits in like free practice and qualifying, and then the race comes and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as I try to make points.
Yeah.
So it's upsetting.
It is. I mean, there's that stretch of where we're at now in the season last year where he was leading the Drivers' Championship. He was on top of the world and had a lot of good races go his way. And it was like, dang, like, I'll never forget the beginning of that season where it was like, oh my gosh, Ferrari's got it.
He was popping off, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it.
Yeah,
this is
we're
my
back.
year.
Yeah.
Woo! And then Sainz starts like crashing out on the first lap of every single race that he's in. And I was like, guys.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is happening? It just all goes down.
All right, so what do you think happens the rest of the season for these guys?
For Ferrari, I think they just kind of stay where they're at, honestly. I think they'll end up higher than McLaren. I think they'll probably finish P4 or P5. In the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel
it's going to be Red Bull.
Red Bull will win.
Yep. Mercedes will be second.
I don't know. I am rooting for the underdog, and I kind of want Aston Martin to finish.
don't think Lance pulls in enough points. I think George and Lewis. I think Mercedes is in the lead for the constructors. No.
Nope. Red Bull has 224.
Yeah, a stupid amount.
Aston Martin has 102. Mercedes has 96.
Okay, so it's close. So that's a close P2 fight.
It's a 6-point difference.
And there's a lot of money in that difference for what they win as a constructor.
And Mercedes has a lot more money than Aston Martin does, and I know Fernando Alonso is carrying them, and it's very hopeful of me to say that I want them to finish P2.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, it's probably Red Bull, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Ferrari, and then I would hope Alpine, and then maybe McLaren. That's like my top 7. And then the rest is just a jumble of like AlphaTauri and Williams and Alfa Romeo and Haas. Like the bottom 4, I'm like, you're all just kind of like blurring into one image at this point.
Yeah. So we're like 2 weeks out, a little less than 2 weeks from Imola. And then you're like 80 days out or something, 90 days out from going to Monza.
I don't know, honestly, how many days it is until
Does
Monza.
your audience know that you're going to Monza?
No.
Did I just ruin something?
No, you didn't ruin anything. It's not like I was keeping it a surprise.
I mean, that would have been a cool surprise. Be like, I'm going. Well, you got to record some stuff while you're out there.
No, yeah, I will definitely be recording things and stuff like that. But no, I'm going to Monza for every single day.
Oh my gosh.
I will be there.
Jealous.
I will be there from Thursday to Monday. So me and my dad are going. This is my early college graduation gift.
That's amazing.
I'm getting it like 3 years early.
I was about to say, it's a little early.
It's a little early. But then we were talking about it and I was like, listen, Dad, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season. People may move. People may retire.
I know.
So I would
if you want a shot to see this group of boys, this is a good one.
I want to see the teams that I'm rooting for now. Like, it may be really disappointing, but like if something happens, I would like to be able to say like, yeah, I saw Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz like when they were racing for Ferrari and this and that and all that fun stuff. And who knows? Monza always seems to have like a weird winner. Pierre, Daniel, who won? Was it Max who won last?
I think so. I was going to say, you probably will get to see Max win a race, which is so cool.
So much fun. I can't wait to hear the Dutch anthem for the millionth time.
I know, it's beautiful.
I have it memorized.
I did too. I can sit there and like hum it. It gets stuck in my head. I wake up humming it.
No, literally, I was watching the race over at some friends' houses, and they're like, you have this theme, like you have the national anthem memorized. I was like, yes, I have the national anthem for the Netherlands and Austria memorized.
Yep.
Because of how many times I've heard it.
Yeah.
So, I have no idea really what the French national anthem sounds like. No idea. The Italian, you hear it maybe a couple times in my life. But the Austrian national anthem,
well, it used to be
in my head.
Austrian and British.
Yes,
back
British.
and forth, back and forth. Yeah.
Now you're just hearing.
It's
either Mexico and Austria, or it's Netherlands and Austria.
Yeah.
So I'm like, guys, let's get a little versatile in here.
Well, we got a break because of Mother's Day, and then they're back across the pond in Imola.
Yeah.
For a little three-peat, 3 back-to-back weekends.
Ooh,
Which will
love
be
those.
a lot of fun.
I can't wait to record podcasts back-to-back.
I know, it'll be awesome.
I missed last week's.
Well.
So, yeah, PSA, I apologize for not doing a podcast for Baku, but I had finals. I'm a college kid. I was very stressed.
You got to do what you got to do.
I was crying. Okay, give me a break. But no, the race results were Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, Russell, Sainz, Hamilton, Leclerc, Gasly, Ocon, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Stroll, Bottas, Albon, Hülkenberg, Zhou Guanyu, Norris, De Vries, Piastri, and Sargent, and no DNFs.
I know, that's actually pretty cool. No DNFs. Everybody got to play.
Yeah, everybody got to play fair. No one got to sit out on the corner and have an apple juice. No one was benched.
No one was benched. No one was talking to the media halfway through the race because they were already out. Yeah, no, that was good. Really good.
They said some statistic about like this is one of the only like I don't know. I feel like the number 40 is in my head, but 40 feels really really small. For like they were like this is the 40th something race that's like ever happened where all drivers think. I think that statistic is very very wrong.
Yeah, let's not quote
Maybe
that.
it was like 400th race or something like that.
I mean, I don't know. We'll have to look it up. But it's not often.
No.
It's been a long time that I can remember.
Honestly, I don't remember the last time that there wasn't a DNF.
Yeah.
Because normally, someone's got an issue, someone's got a tire flying down the street.
Yep.
Something like that. But no. I mean, it was a pretty done and dusted race.
Yep. Well, hopefully there's some exciting battles. There's things that keep our interest going into the season. I know I will stay locked in watching Red Bull dominate, but I think there's probably also going to be some exciting things. And you know how it is. They got to find the drama. We'll find the drama because we need another good and juicy Netflix season.
Yes. Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
They'll make something up.
Yeah.
Out of somewhere. They'll be like, oh, they didn't. I don't even know. I can't even think of anything. The only other thing that I heard was there are like talks of Miami being turned into a night race.
That would be sick.
They said, I remember I saw it on Twitter, something, there are discussions going on with the FAA or the people who run the Miami race about maybe it being a night race for next year.
That'd be so cool.
Because I don't know if it's because of the heat.
I mean, last year when they all got out of their cars and they were like about passing out, that was a bit crazy.
I mean, it was so fun, like, not fun, but funny, because I was explaining it to someone who was watching the race with me, and they're like, now do the cars get hot? And I was like, yes. I remember them talking about it in Drive to Survive. They're like, yeah, we lose like 10 kilograms or something after we get out of a car because of all the water weight that they just lose because of how like dehydrated and how hot
they sweat.
It gets in there, that they just like sweat out everything, and that's why they have to like weigh themselves before and after to make sure that they're not like cheating at once again. I don't know how they would do that, but I'm sure there's some way. But like, it's so hot in the car, and then you go to Miami. Well,
also the stress burns calories, and it's very, very, very physical. Yeah. It's not even just the temperature. I mean, what their bodies are going under is like...
everything, and then the heat of the car, and then the heat of just Miami in May. I mean, like, of course it's like earlier, but like, it's still South Florida. It got hot like a month ago. Yeah. I mean, I go to FSU, so...
Well, they've been staying hot in South Florida.
Yeah.
I was there in January and it was hot.
Yeah, you were there. Like, it doesn't really get cold there.
No.
So, yeah. No.
That'd be interesting. That'd be a cool... that'd be a really cool change of vibe for Miami. For us to have night races.
I think it would be cool because I know like Miami's like the nightlife there and stuff like that, and I'm sure the stadium would look really cool. Yeah, lit up at night with that, and they did the paddock this year in the stadium,
which was dope.
I was explaining. My dad was like, the pit lane is in the stadium, like they go through the stadium. I was like, no, just the paddock, just the walking around and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, the pit lane is still outside. Don't worry.
Still outside. No, that was actually really cool. The paddock was cool inside, but it would be neat to see another night race on the schedule. Mm-hmm. Well, we got Vegas, the Strip at night, which is going to be cool, but that'd be cool to have two.
I mean, normally the only night races are the beginning and the ending. Yep. So if we added another one or another two, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd make for really cool. It's just a different vibe. Like when you watch those night races, it's totally different. Yeah. I think they'd be really fun. Yeah, I'm sure some people around the world aren't gonna like the fact that it's a night race. Well, yeah, I mean, or it'd be morning / noon, depending on where you're watching it. If we did convert it to a night race, so who knows? Yeah, I mean, it was 3 p.m. for us here because that's a normal time. Normally, when they have those races in their over countries, there. It's normally between afternoon. Like 1 to 3. I think is normally they start. Yep. The thing. So. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean. I know. I'm just used to the 7 a.m. races. Yeah. 8 a.m., 9 a.m. I remember last week's. I was supposed to wake up for it, and I was like 7 a.m. But I was an hour back in Alabama, so it was 6 a.m. Oh my gosh. I did not wake up for that race because I was up late. I don't blame you. So yeah, I was like, I'll get up. Nope. Didn't wake up. Is that when y'all were at a bachelorette party? We were. I was at a bachelorette party. That's dope. Mm-hmm. It was the first night. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't blame you for not waking up for that. Yeah. But dude, this was fun. Yeah, thank you for being my co-host for this one. We're still trying to figure out, me and Ariana, I live in Ohio. Not Ohio. I don't live in Ohio. I live in Georgia. Yep. Excuse me. I was born in Ohio. But she lives in Florida, like kind of middle of Florida. So we are not in the same place as we normally are at FSU. So we're still trying to figure out how to do our podcast thing. Yeah. So over phone call, we're trying to figure that out. But you so graciously accepted my invitation to do this because I was like, I need to put something out. I can't have 2 weeks in a row where I don't put out a podcast. So, thank you for being a part, and thank you for letting me use your equipment. I'm sure this sounds much nicer than the past. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear it. 3 episodes that I've done. No, this is good. This is awesome. I've had a lot of fun. I will help any way I can because I believe in this podcast. Oh, thank you. Number 1 supporter right here. Number 1 supporter. Number 1 supporter. Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to Shift Happens. Tune in next time, which is in 2 weeks from now, to listen to us talk about cars and all things F1. Have a great week. Later.
Bye.